Hello, Serge here from the Backyard Driving Range. Alright, I got another feel-good letter that came into customer service from Lex and Nora, and they were a couple of Sergites from Belgium who was in the United States on the west coast of Florida last week when I was doing a golf school down there with Doc Griffin, and they came out for a private lesson with me. They contacted me earlier, and I met them one afternoon after we finished the courses, and we started the lesson at 5:30 in the afternoon, and I worked with both of them, and they are from Belgium. They are originally Dutch, living in Belgium, and I think I get that right. And they go on to say here, just want you to know that both Nora and I decided that our lesson with you was the most valuable and enjoyable lesson we had in our 45 years of the game we so love. Without having to hit a zillion balls, you immediately detected the flaws in our swing, explained understandably, and wrote down instructions for us to take home and work on. They're talking about my diagnosis and prescription sheet there. You managed to give us a new focus and invigorate us. You have created two warriors ready to take on all other members of our golf club. When you plan our next trip to Europe, please inform us ahead of time, since we should much like to meet again. Many thanks, Lex and Nora. All right, well, I was able to tell them that Doc and I will be in London, England, and then I'm going over to Holland the week after, I think the first week of May, and we're going to be just north of London, and I'll be there with Malcolm Rawl, one of our European certified instructors, and then with him, and then the next week I'll be over in Holland with Leo Van Bennekom, who's our certified instructor down at golf course at Katarinaberg, and so I'll be there for almost 2 full weeks in Europe. So anyways, what do we see? What did I see? Basically, what do you always hear me say about the peak performance golf swing? The setup determines the motion. Now both Lex and Nora were pretty good golfers. In fact, he told me that Nora, I think, had won something like at their club championship, had won it like 14 or 16 times or something. It was a really big number, and she was still carrying a low single-digit handicap. And as you see, they've been playing golf, as they said, 45 years. So they've been playing golf a long time and have been pretty good golfers during that time. But basically, it was a good tune-up on setup and then the swing. They both were very diligent in trying to get the PPGS, so they had a lot of good things going. Both of them were both 3/4, and they were both pretty close to not having any turn issues. We had to fine-tune a little bit of the alignment. Overall, the alignment wasn't really bad, but we fine-tuned that. But I think the biggest thing that I saw with both of them, especially with Lex, was they were because they had a tendency to aim a little to the right, they were both finishing kind of way too wide out over here, which, as we know, if you're finishing wide, that means you're turning too much here. So we got to make sure that in the backswing you turn only to the toe line and up, so that when you come straight down from here, you swing straight down and you come straight up over the shoulders, very close to the ear. Like when I play golf, I don't wear these hats to play because the brim's get in the way, and especially if I'm wearing one of the straw hats or whatever that's got a much more rigid brim. The only time I'll fit this up and the hat comes flying off, and if you're playing in a windy day and the wind catches it, sometimes I'm chasing this thing 30 yards down the fairway. And so normally, even when I play with these, I take them off, I put them down, because I just don't want any sense of getting myself a little too wide. And in fact, for a while I was finishing wide because these hats were forcing me wide. And when I finally realized that, even when I play with these floppies now, I usually take them off when I swing, because I don't want anything that's going to get me to finish a little wider than what I want. Because a good finish has your hands coming up here, and I say to most golfers, I say, you want to finish where the hairs on the back of your right hand will almost touch the hairs on your ear. I want you that close, palms perpendicular to the ground in the finish, so they come back down right in front of you, and the club is pointing at the target when you recoil and relax, pointing at the target, because we want to finish at the target. So I tightened up their swings. They were both vertical. We worked on those full points, but mostly the finish. Why? Because what's one of the most important things I say? If you can get to a good finish in a perfectly dynamically balanced finish, T-finish, shoulders horizontal, spines vertical, you get the recoil and relax at the target, that means your swing was under total control. From the takeaway to impact to the finish, you had to have had a good golf swing. Relatively good golf swing. Okay? And that means, and so when you've hit that ball rather well and you get here like this, you can be standing just watching that ball all the way out till the ball lands on the ground and stops running or whatever, lands on the green and stops on the green, and walk out when you want to walk out. Not this stuff of making swings and you got to immediately start moving your feet so you don't fall down. You're struggling for that balance. The finish is critical. It's not over till it's over. And in golf, the finish is critical. You get to a good finish, you should have had a pretty good golf shot. So we really tightened up their swing all the way through the finish and really gave them the finish. And the basic thing I still see, even with Sergites, there's still a tendency to let the shoulders turn a little bit too much and swing over here. And most of that comes from the fact that most golfers, especially for right-handers, you aim a little to the right, lefties a little to the left, and that means you're someone always having to give that little extra effort to get your body to turn more and pull, so to speak, the ball back to the target. All right? Because you're aiming right for a righty, aiming left for a lefty. And so once we get lined up, you can swing down the line, and then the finish becomes the really critical issue. Recoil and relax, square to the target. Back foot is up, pirouetted. It's up, all the weights on the outside of the front foot. You can stand here, look at the target, and then let go and walk out when you want to walk out. That's the key. So again, that's the beauty about me teaching Sergites who've been trying to swing. Y'all are amazing how well y'all doing, but everybody pretty much has alignment problems. And once we fix those up and we can tighten up the swing, it's getting to be a real pleasure to work with all the Sergites all over the world, because you all are doing a pretty good swing. It's just a matter of fine-tuning them and getting all those things tightened up. And as you tighten those things up, reduce the angles. Fewer angles the better. Secret rule number one. That's how you get better, and that's how you get more consistent, so you can start playing more consistent golf and shooting lower scores. Well, that's it for the search for today, and I'll be speaking with you all again soon.